What's poppin', people? Welcome back to my channel. We are going to get right into the video because I originally posted like a teaser video or asked the question through TikTok, and people said it'll be better for me just to elaborate on it on this platform. So go ahead and share this video with a friend, comment, like, subscribe, and we're just gonna get to it. Okay, so if you're like me at all, growing up and up until 2-3 days ago, I always thought, okay, God knows everything, so he already knows who my soulmate is when I'm born. Like, he already knows, like, this person's gonna be my husband. Like, he's God. He knows all. Like, he literally knows where I'm going to end up and who I'm going to end up with before I'm even born, which is really cool to think about. But up until 2-3 days ago, I started to question that thought. Now, before you guys think that I completely got rid of that thought process, this is the point of the video, to kind of elaborate, because I didn't necessarily get rid of the thought process. I just kind of got more revelation on the thought. Okay. So I was reading the book of Genesis. Why I was led there, I really don't know, but I was. So I started reading, and there was a key word that stood out to me while I was reading, and that was the word suitable in the verses. Let me give you the verse. Genesis chapter 2, verses 18 through 21. And the word that stood out to me was suitable, and they kept seeing it in the verse, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then another thing that stuck out to me was the fact that after God said it's not good for man to be alone, I always thought, let me know if I'm not alone here. I always thought that once God said that, then came Eve. Like, that's when the Lord took Adam's rib and made him Eve. But if you actually read the Bible for yourself, that's why I always push study and read for yourself. That didn't happen. Like, the Lord said it's not good for man to be alone, and that is how we have all the animals of the earth right now, because he started making animals to see which one would be suitable and a good helper for Adam. He would create the animals, bring them to Adam. Adam would name them. But at the end of I think it's verse 19, I believe, it says, after all of that, basically, there was still no suitable helper found for Adam. It wasn't like God made Eve immediately, like, oh, automatically knows what he needs. Like, he started making animals and basically told Adam to work while I figure out and I create the right one for you. Keep working, do what I tell you to do, and I'm gonna make what's for you, and then we'll figure it out together. All right, so then obviously I started thinking, and the more you dig and study, you just have way more questions. So of course, your girl had a lot of questions. So we're gonna stop right there. That's verses 18 through 20. And there's a few things that I had questions about in that verse alone, because I was like, well, not really questions, it was more like thought process and aha moments. But it was like, okay, one thing you do notice about Adam was that he never complained, and he never questioned if God knew what he was doing, or like he never grumbled. It's not reported in the Bible that he did any of that. So I was like, okay, so he was content with working, and he just knew God's gonna do whatever he's gonna do, and eventually the right one will come along. Another thing I took away was the Bible never says how long it took for God to create Eve. So it literally just says, it's chapter 2. So in chapter 1, it talks about how God created the earth and heavens and earth in 7 days. It never addresses how long it took him to create all the animals. So we don't know how long Adam was waiting. Like, that's another thing that stuck out to me. So I'm like, yeah, you had this man waiting, but we don't know how long, because I don't know. In church and everything, I just kind of assume that, okay, God told Adam, so then the next day he created Eve, because he's like, well, it's not good for you to be alone, so here. But our God is not a God to just gratify our needs right away. Like, he's just known to make us wait for things, and that builds character in the waiting. So he made Adam wait. How long? We have no idea. I've looked. There's no idea how long he waited for all those animals and creatures to be created to finally get to Eve. And I want to reiterate that Adam was working. If you read in a few verses above, it says that God created man to help tend to the Garden of Eden and to basically work. Like, he was still doing what God told him to do in the process of, yes, he needs a helper. Yes, he needs someone suitable for him. No, it's not good for him to be alone. But in the meantime, I'm still going to do what I was put on earth to do. He's still walked in his purpose. Okay, so now we know that Adam kept working. We don't know how long it took for God to finally create Eve. And Adam never complained or grumbled about it. He just went about his day and trusted the Lord to bring the right creature, okay? So now we're in verse 21 when it says that the Lord, let me make sure I got that right. I got it right. So in verse 21, it says, so the Lord put Adam into a deep sleep and then took one of his ribs, covered it up with flesh, and from his rib he created woman. And then going into verse 22, I believe, is when Adam is like, at last, finally a suitable creature. I'm paraphrasing here. The verse is on the screen for you guys. But in those verses, there was a few things that I took away as well. So the first thing that I took away was like, all right, so God was on the hunt with us. So we think, right? Because that's how he's kind of making it seem, because God knows everything. You already know who would be suitable for him, like your God. Hello, why are you bringing him creature after creature after creature? Granted, we love our animals today, but you could have been made the animals when you made the earth. So why didn't you just make Eve right there for Adam once you realize it's not good for him to be alone? Like, how God works and things, we just not drawn up to question, okay? But I kind of questioned. So, what the revelation that I got, and I wanted to share with you guys, is if God gave Adam what he needed right away, Adam wouldn't have any kind of character. Like, he would have no kind of character development because, okay, yep, you need this, here you go. You need this, here you go. Like, and you guys have seen through TV shows and movies, if you give a kid what they want without having to work for it, they usually have no work ethic. They're not grateful for anything. They're usually bratty. Like, they're just not the best human beings. And God obviously wants his creatures, his children, to be the best. So that's why I feel like he made Adam wait. But once he realized that, okay, all these creatures aren't good, and Adam continued to walk in his purpose, he continued to do what God told him to do, he finally brings him Eve. Now, I personally feel like God already knew the type of creature that was right for Adam. Like, no one knows what they look like, nothing, but I just personally think he already knew. Again, I think he was just doing some character development in Adam because Adam is not Jesus. He was made just like us, so there's no perfect person besides Jesus, so he had those flaws that we have. Granted, sin didn't get into the world until Eve sinned, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Okay, so the other thing that I took from that was, it said that the Lord took one of Adam's ribs. Now, me being me, I was like, okay, Lord, why don't you just make Eve the way you made Adam, have that direct connect to you, and we really wouldn't have sin in the world as far as I'm concerned. Like, I'm pretty sure someone would have done something along the lines, but in that moment, why didn't you just make another being the same way you made Adam? Why did she have to be made from his ribs? Now, if you look at the verse in depth, it said he took his ribs and covered it with flesh. What process, and nowadays, do we call that? Okay, surgery. So God basically performed surgery on Adam. So his deep sleep is our anesthesia, and then he cut him open, took out his rib, created what he needed to create, and then covered back up with flesh. But why? When you think of like surgery, most times people don't perform surgery for no reason. I mean, granted, you have people doing plastic surgery, they want to change their body, like, okay, whatever. But like actual surgery that really wasn't much of a choice, because it wasn't like he asked Adam, okay, Adam, I'm about to make this creature for you, but in order for me to do it, I gotta put you under. Is that okay? Are you okay with that? He didn't ask Adam anything. He put him, God did what he wanted to do because he knows what he's doing. He put him in a deep sleep and performed surgery. Now, when you're going in for surgery, there's a lot of prepping before surgery. So I feel like Adam's prepping was him working and waiting, because in that process, you are still having to practice patience and gratitude and like contentment. Those are still characteristics that need to be built specifically for Adam. Yes, like we said, he needed the help. Even God saw and noticed, he pointed out, it's not good for man to be alone. He needed help. And while he was in the process of creating, it was still, again, more so, it was about Adam's character development and who Adam would become as a man. So when he finally, again, we don't know when he made her, but when he finally made Eve, he took a piece of Adam. So he basically broke him. You get what I'm saying? He broke him without permission. He broke him with no say-so in Adam. Now, after he broke him, technically, if you're thinking spiritually, I know you guys, if you guys haven't or heard or you have, whatever, in service, you hear a lot of, in sermons, you hear a lot of the time that the Lord will usually break you in order to make you, you know? So he broke Adam to make Eve. Why? Because Adam needed to be grateful for it. He needed to go through basically the pain of having surgery and having to work and having to wait, because that is kind of painful when you really want something. He had to go through that, so that way when he does finally get what he needs and get that helper and that suitable partner for him, he can value it and appreciate it and be grateful for it and thank God and know that it was only God, because hey, I've been doing this for who knows how long. I've been entertaining this, looking at this, and like seeing this person, and finally I see the one that is for me. So that is why my revelation with that verse of why God had to create Eve in that way, because again, like I said before, he could have made her the way he made Adam, which was from dirt, and breathed the breath of life into her, same way he did Adam, but he didn't do that, and obviously God has a purpose. If you guys have any other like predictions or revelations that you think I'm a little bit off on, feel free to say so in the comments, because this is again like a Bible study, so we're all learning this at the same time, okay? The next thing that I want to point out, that's in verse 22, it says that God brought Eve to him. So what does that mean? Because I don't know about you, but again, I've always thought that when God created Eve, he created her kind of right next to him, because that's his rib, so you would think, okay, lay it down, do what I'm going to do, whatever. But it says that he brought her to him. So that means that he took the rib someplace else and created Eve. We don't know where she was made. We don't know where she came from. We don't know how long it even took God to create her. All we know is he took his rib and created Eve, and then brought Eve to Adam. And then we get to verse 23 where Adam's like, at last, finally a suitable helper for me, blah, blah, blah. The verse is there for you to read. And that's how Adam and Eve are created. So all in all, I still believe that God knows who our helper on this earth is supposed to be, who our soulmate is, who our life partner is, however you want to like name them. I believe that God does know who he is, who they are, who he is. I do believe that God knows who they are before we know, and yes, he's on the hunt. Like, it may seem like he's on the hunt with us, like he's bringing us suitor after suitor, you know, but at the end of the day, God's like, all right, in this waiting time, in your time of walking in purpose and in your time of waiting for this person, you need to be getting some wisdom. You need to be getting some discernment. So when I do finally bring that person to you, you already know, like you will have enough wisdom to know, okay, this is the one for me. I can see this. And I feel like if everyone kind of had that thought process of using wisdom and not just, okay, I'm like sexually attracted to them, or we look good next to each other, or oh my God, they're really nice to me, they're different from what my family is or any other guy I've dated. Like, if people would just get the mindset of using wisdom to know who their life partner is, who their soulmate is, who their husband, wife is going to be, I feel like we would have a lot less divorce. Because when you know something is from the Lord and you know that this person is for you, there is no way, like, unless I'm talking for myself, which I could be, whatever, but for me, there is no way I am going to let the devil or any other heathen come in and take what God has for me. Who would do that? Hopefully nobody. So, I really hope this video was helpful for you guys. There was so much revelation that I got in this verse that I had to go back and forth, chapter, verse, whatever, and I'm excited for it. So I'll be posting another one because there was other things I noticed, because I want y'all to like note with me. I'm gonna get ahead of myself, but whatever. I want y'all to take note with me. Eve did not have a name. The Bible kept referring to her as a woman. She did not have a name until she sinned. That's one thing I took away. And another thing I took away, I was talking about relationships and all that stuff. They never say love. The Bible doesn't even mention the word love until Genesis 22, verse 2. And that was long past Adam and Eve. So I'll be posting another video real soon, because once I got the revelation of that, it's really exciting to see. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Follow me on my socials. I never say that, but follow me on my socials because I'll be making that video very, very soon, and I'm really excited. See you next time.